Good morning, our esteemed viewers. I welcome you on GBS Television, and this is your lovely program, which is called In Focus. In Focus is a program whereby we want to know more what is happening exactly around the world, around us. So today, I have one guest, and he's a special guest. His name is Dr. Peter Baofu. He is from USA. He has written 178 series of books, and also he has been doing interviews in more than 135 TV stations around the world. And today he is in Malawi and on GBS TV. He has got something which is very, very important, which can help you, and also it can empower you. So I hope that our viewers, you'll be there to watch this in Focus program so that you can benefit also through our guest, Dr. Peter Baofu. So, Dr. Peter Baofu, I would like to welcome you to Malawi, and especially on here, GBS TV. What is it that it has brought you on GBS TV? What is it that you want to talk about?
Well, just for introduction, I'm an American visionary and author of 179 books in all fields of knowledge in the social sciences, the natural sciences, the formal sciences, and the humanities in relation to the mind, nature, society, and culture. Okay. And I have been in more than 130 different countries already around the world in all civilizations. And I have been interviewed on TV around the world in relation to my different visions of the human future in all fields of knowledge. So I do that because I would like to understand humanity on the ground, not just by reading books, let's say from the library or something like that. And I want to provide some realistic solutions to global problems affecting not just one country, one culture, but the entire humanity. And that's exactly what I do. And the reason that I come to Malawi is part of that global project that I'm doing. So in a way, that's very historically unprecedented for me, for anyone to do something like that.
Okay. So you have talked about global problems. People would like to know what exactly is the cause of those problems, or if you analyze them, what are these problems?
Well, there are a lot of different problems. Maybe I can, for the sake of convenience, I can divide them into domestic issues and global issues, and see how they affect each other in the economic dimension. Let's talk about the domestic first, and then we move on to the global dimension. In the case of Malawi, the first thing that anyone can see when they come here is poverty. Okay. The last time when I looked into the figure, the income per capita in Malawi in terms of purchasing power parity is only about $1,500, roughly speaking. It may be a bit more, maybe a bit less, but that is quite low when you compare with some other economies. Even in the case of Africa, for example, some of your neighbors, let's say in South Africa or in Rwanda, for example, has higher income per capita than yours. So, but on the other hand, some other economies are very comparable to yours. Madagascar, for example, and Zimbabwe, for example, and some of your neighboring countries, Congo, all of them are very comparable to yours. So if you want to ask what is the problem, what are the major causes for poverty in this country, then I said, well, there are many of them. A good example to start is about the agriculture. Because even though agriculture accounts for only about a third of the GDP in Malawi, but then the majority of the population, the labor force, works in agriculture. So the economy is quite dependent on agriculture. Yes. Look at the exports that Malawi has to other countries. tobacco is a good example. There's more than half of the total export that Malawi has. If you account for sugar, for tea, and for coffee, all four already account for more than 90% of the export in Malawi.
Yes.
So it can tell you how dependent Malawi is on agriculture. So that's a major cause of the poverty. Why? Because too much dependency is not good. Every time when the commodity prices go down, for example, then you suffer.
Oh.
For example, look at tobacco. It's a good example. Now there's more and more. You have the anti-smoking campaign around the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they have non-smoking sections everywhere you go, and people become more aware of the health risk if you smoke a lot. So the demand for tobacco is going down over time in terms of on a per capita basis. That means that your earning is going to go down also because you depend on exporting.
Yeah.
So that is a major cause of the problem. And plus, in relation to those agricultural production, I also know that Malawi is also produce quite a bit of cannabis.
Yeah.
Some of the drugs which are used not just locally but also in other countries.
Yes.
So you are exporting them too, and that can be a major problem, not just in terms of health risk, not just in terms of the income, the revenue problem, but also because of corruption and insecurity, which tie up with a lot of gang warfare and corruption within the police sector in Malawi. That's a major serious problem here.
Okay.
So you talk about the causes, so those are the causes and also the consequences too. So that is not very good in terms of economic development. Okay. But there are many other causes too. Climate change, as you may know, is also another one. Dependency on the fossil fuels is also another one. Why? Now we are related to international situation. The war in Ukraine, by the way, is also affect a lot of prices. The prices for food, the prices for fuels and all that. And Malawi is dependent on quite those imports. Fossil fuels and those food that you are importing. So when the prices go up, you suffer too because you don't have much to buy now if the prices go up. So there are a lot of different causes of the poverty in Malawi, and these are some of the examples, and we can start with those examples, for example.
So now, as in Malawi, we are in this state whereby we are in poverty. So you have talked about agriculture, over dependence on agriculture. Do you think there's something alternative as we are in this situation? Do you think there can be another way which can make us to now economically grow in Malawi?
Yes. It is not just unique to Malawi. In fact, in many other countries that I have gone to, especially those least developed countries, they have the same problems. I often propose, for example, one solution is for you to diversify. Now, there are two ways to diversify, and I think that you should do both, not just one. One way is to move from one agricultural sector, in which case, let's say you focus on tobacco, tea, coffee, and some other things. I think that you should become less dependent on that and try to grow some other crops which can allow you to earn more or become less vulnerable to any fluctuations in commodity prices. Now, which one should you go to? I think that you should listen to the local farmers because they are the people that know best what to grow and how to make money. So I think that one solution is for the government to help the farmers and listen to them, ask them, okay, how can we help you to grow alternative crops, not just tobacco again and again and again, or coffee or tea or sugar. Those are your four major exports. Ask them, is there another thing that you can do? We support you to help you to grow. You can give them some subsidy, you can give them some tax breaks. For example, I'm quite aware that one of your previous presidents were trying to do that. And he was quite successful, but then that help was cut off by subsequent governments, and now things get back to that problem again. So it's not that no one had done that before. You did. You were successful in a certain way, but then you did not continue. So I think that's one way. Another way is for you to move from agriculture to other sectors of the economy. I think it's time for you to do more in manufacturing, for example, in the service sector. Tourism is a good example. In fact, in a way, I'm one of them. So I know what it's like to be a tourist. So I think that the government can do more. Now, Malawi is poor, and Malawi doesn't have a lot of capital. So where do you get the money to invest into manufacturing and service sector and all that? All this costs money, right?
Yes.
Where do you get the money from?
Yes.
Well, another thing that you can do is to attract foreign direct investment from other countries. Encourage other people. Nowadays, I know that China is investing a lot in Africa. You can ask them, you can ask India. There are many other countries now, they are investing a lot. Encourage them, give them some incentives for them to come. But for you to encourage to come to invest in your country, you have to improve some of the problem. Corruption is a major problem in Malawi. There's everywhere. I learned this firsthand as soon as I arrived from at the airport. Even security police asked me for money openly, shamelessly. So this is the major problem that you have to fix. And also insecurity. I also noticed that some of the foreigners, they do business over here, they were shot and robbed at gunpoint. Some of them were Chinese and some of the foreigners. And the criminals target those business companies and they try to rob them. Now, it's difficult for you to encourage other people to come and invest in your country if you cannot provide security, if you cannot provide any safety from corruption. All this harassment, it increased transaction costs, it harasses a lot of people, it intimidates a lot of people. Why do you think other people will come to you and do business with you, invest in your country, help you develop your manufacturing and your service sector if you treat them like this? And also infrastructure is a major problem in Malawi. You look at the road, it's very bad everywhere.
Okay, in this case, because America is the biggest country, and in politically and also economically, but we as Malawians, we need to survive. So, as a doctor, Peter Baofu, you are in Malawi. What do you think we Malawians we should do? Should we fight against US, or what can be the solution?
I have already mentioned one solution domestically, and I can mention another solution internationally. One of the solutions that I just mentioned to you is that you need to diversify your economy in two ways. Way number one is that you need to diversify from one agricultural dependence on tobacco, coffee, tea, and sugar into something else.
Yes.
And you need to talk to the local farmers about that, because they know best what to produce and how they can earn money. Don't just impose what you like on them. Talk to them. Work together with them and say, what can we do? The government can help you. What can we help you to produce something else? Not depend on so much on these four crops. Number one. Number two, you need to diversify into manufacturing and other sectors of the economy like tourism, service, banking, and all that, and education and all that. Those are very important too. Now, you may ask, where do you get the money? As I said before, you need to encourage foreign direct investment into Malawi. There are a lot of people out there, a lot of companies and countries, they have a lot of money now. China now has the largest foreign reserves. Okay, they have tons of money to invest. So if you want to do business and want them to invest, and they are also very good in manufacturing, so you need to find a way to encourage them to come here and invest so that you can diversify your economy, not just in agriculture. But then the problem is, how do you encourage them? I said, you want to encourage them to come, all those other countries, they want to invest in your country. First, you must provide security. Now you don't. I told you before, there are quite a lot of people here, and some of them are foreigners, they are shot and robbed on the street like this. Okay, that's a major problem for them, insecurity, and from businesses are afraid to come to you. Number one, corruption. I told you before, I experienced that firsthand at the airport. Once I arrived, within an hour, They are treating me like that. I know how corrupt they are. So this is a major problem when you do business, because no matter what you do, you need to pay. Pay anywhere you go. And that increase the transaction cost of doing business.
Yes.
Okay. Number 3, you need to improve your infrastructure. As I take the taxi, the bus, whatever, to move around, I know how difficult it is to move around in Malawi.
Yeah.
The transportation to roads is awful. Okay, and water and electricity is not necessarily available to everyone. And those who are well-to-do, yes, they are okay. But how about the majority of those? Okay, so those are the things that you need to improve to encourage them. And plus you have to give them some incentive to come.
Okay.
So that they can invest in you. Otherwise they can invest in someone else because they are losing money over here. When they invest in you, they have to pay for all these problems. They rather invest into another places where they can earn more money. That's what they do in business. So you have to give and take. You want something from them, you have to give something so that they can allow you to come. Just like if you are interested in someone, you have to court the person. You have to see what you can do to make the person accept your offer.
As we are going towards the end of the program, maybe you have something to say. I would like to give you also a chance.
No, maybe the last thing that I would like to mention is that I also focus, you have a crisis in relation to fossil fuels. The fuel prices are increasing. A lot of people are complaining. And in that regard, I think that it's also time for Malawi to switch to renewable energy.
Okay.
Like biofuels, solar power, wind power, and all that. I think that is the trend of the future. Plus, pollution here is a lot in Malawi.
Okay.
So I think that the switch to renewable energy can help you not just reducing prices, but also give you a healthier environment too. I think that is long overdue now. So I think that it's time for you to act on it, and that's very important now for the economy. I can see that the rises in fossil fuels are also hurting the local people. How do I know that? Because I spoke to the local people and they are already complaining to me this problem more often than I would like to hear.
Okay.
So I think that is a serious problem that you also need to face too. And that's the solution that I'm proposing.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on GBS Television.
Okay.
We appreciate for your time. I hope that next time please come again on GBS TV so that we can talk more about world politics, world economy.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you, our viewers, for being with us on GBS Television. Until next time we meet, please stay tuned.